Hi, I'm Motoki AKITSU, a professor in Kyoto University and one of the working group leaders in the 5th project. The paper for this session is titled Grappling at Food Policy in Kyoto, Experiences and Future Prospects. Our project has almost finished, but our activity is still ongoing, so this paper is a kind of cross-section of the sequence, cut by the position reached currently. The presentation is divided into 5 parts. Firstly, I mention something about action research. Secondly, uniqueness in Japan's food and agriculture. Thirdly, experiences from our action research and some lessons in the last. The goal of our action research is to build a Japanese version of food policy and a kind of organization like Food Policy Council that drives it. The first and most important task is to identify the most urgent issues in Japanese food and agriculture. So, we introduce current problems in Japan's condition of food and agriculture before analyzing the process of our experiments. Creating byproducts is still underway. We feel difficult to produce academic outputs constantly in parallel with being involved in grappling at the social activism. In the description of our experiments, the 4 stages shown in the slide are used as a guideline. Our struggle for building food policies following them in principle. First stage is called visioning, including visioning workshops, seminars that find current problems and seek shared scenarios on local systems of food and agriculture. The second stage is to make an informal or formal organization that plays a role of driving a process. In the third stage, the action plan is devised through discussion led by the established organization. The fourth stage shows an interaction with policy-making process in local government. As mentioned before, uniqueness or characteristics in Japan's food and agriculture is set forth as a premise. This figure shows some major numeric data related to agricultural labor force in Japan. The shortage and aging of farm workers are critical challenges that Japan's agriculture faces. Not shown in the slide, but the disparity between urban center and the remote countryside is ever widening simultaneously. This line graph shows a long trend of food self-sufficiency rate in each country. Before the period of rapid economic growth, the rate was above 70%, but since then, it has decreased in a straight line and now is hovering under 40%. Comparing with other countries, we are in a group of East Asian countries having food insecurity. It is contrasted with some West European countries that have raised the rate during the same period. Such food insecurity in production side is the first characteristic as a backdrop. Meanwhile, thanks to our dietary habit, Japan enjoys a low rate of obesity, comparing to not only other developed countries, but also some other Asian countries. Our diet has changed drastically in just more than a half century, which is generally called westernization of food. Through the process, however, we have kept pattern of diet that contains some amount of rice and seafoods, low fat and less mammal meat intake. The low obesity rate prevents non-communicable diseases caused by diet, like diabetes, from an urgent target in public health policy. This is the second feature of Japan's environment in food and agriculture. The third characteristic is related to low-level environmental activism. Most of us acknowledge global environmental problems like climate change, but there are only few actions among the people at large. The low diffusion rate of organic farming is one of the symptoms. The governmental extension service has been unwilling or even against to promote organic farming up to the present. Embracing the uniqueness in your mind, we selected two research sites, Kyoto City and Kamiyaka City, which are intimately tied together due to their close proximity. Kyoto City is a famous tourist place that has 1,480,000 population. The city signed Milan Urban Food Policy Pact in 2015, but nobody recognized it, even in municipal office. Kamiyaka City, that is 89,000 population, is located in the suburban area, having fairly amount of farmland. First, we look into the case of Kyoto City. This table shows a short history of our activities. We held public seminars on food policy and food policy council and conducted visioning and gaming workshops with citizen activists and city and prefecture officials at the early stage of the project. After the visioning stage, we declared to establish a local food policy council only with citizen activists and academics, because officials could understand the meanings of our intention, but were not mobilized. The reform of school lunch with more organic foods and the support for movement named Children's Canteen, a community kitchen that supplies meals for children in low-income families, was the first set of action plans. 2 years ago, active core members formed the Kyoto FPC more substantially and created a leaflet to advocate our mission. The above picture was taken at the first kickoff meeting of Kyoto FPC, and the bottom one is a shot at the organic lunch seminar, gathering students who participated in an event of food and agriculture held in the Heritage Building of Kyoto Prefecture Office. This figure is on the page of the leaflet. We summarize current issues into 9 sections: safe food, urban agriculture, environmental sustainability, reduction of food waste, food education to children, health promotion, employment and economic development, emergency food delivery, and community development. Our Kyoto FPC haven't established institutional collaboration with the municipal government yet. We select 3 topics and approach to the government, holding a periodical meeting once a month. School lunch would be an effective leverage to indicate the direction for sustainability, but there's a great barrier to discuss with officers about such public procurement. So now we're targeting the lunch in kindergartens and nurseries run by private capitals. Urban agriculture has been paid attention to in the urbanized world. This fiscal year is a time to renew the 10-year agriculture and forestry policy in Kyoto City, and we have a chance to intervene in its making process in the way that we involve a chair of the consultation committee into our member. It seems still difficult to overarch different administrative sections, but the intervention would be a possible opportunity to let city officials know our concept of food policy in practice. The last topic, compost, is related to food waste and material circulation. The handy compost kit in the picture prevails now in small-sized urban families under the staying at home caused by COVID-19. The material circulation around food would urge even city dwellers to consider production side of food. We move to the next case study in Kyoto City. At the beginning stage, food stakeholder workshops were conducted after brief research on food purchasing behavior. Participants in the workshops were not social activists, unlike the case in Kyoto City, selected from each section food system and requested to attend a series of gatherings held 3 times. After the workshops, a kick-off meeting of the Kyoto FPC was held in order to build a preceding group for it, but failed. It provided us, however, a chance to meet a mayor of Kyoto City who participated in the meeting in a positive response to our invitation. After 2 seminars to seek for action plan, making Kyoto City an organic town was decided to be a slogan, and the first organic market was held, supported by a little bit by local government. It was natural in the area with abundant farmland that food policy focused on the production side of food system. We haven't built an apparent organization yet, but a combination of loose network of organic farmers and the staff of our university that started a revitalization program previously are co-working for progress. These are pictures in the respective event. Our current task is to start for organic farming in a city park designed for preserving a rare species of freshwater fish. Organic grass farming is required there in order to avoid the damage by chemicals. 3.5 hectares in the map will be allowed to be used for farming without chemical fertilizers or synthesized pesticides. We're going to make a group to be a contractor with the municipal government. The most important fact to establish food policy in Kyoto is that the mayor has a strong interest in environmental issues. The mayor supports our project positively, but city officials cannot catch up with his intention now. All of the listed activities have relationships with the municipal authority. Our project would progress in parallel with the development of minds of city officials. At the end, we will summarize lessons learned from the experiments. Because of underdevelopment of the NGO's potentials in Japan, the access to public authority is critical to transform social system. In Kyoto City, a rigid and inflexible sectionalism in the municipal government is a great barrier to construct cross-sectional policy scheme like food policy. The kind of sectionalism is common in the bureaucracy system anywhere in the world, but each society has its uniqueness. There's a custom that officers move across a section every few years in the Japanese bureaucratic system. So, it might be a long way to contact all of potential officers in charge of a particular section. Transition is time. A rich history of the NGO activism is a hope for giving strength to our action in Kyoto City. In contrast, the mayor in Kyoto City leads officers to a kind of social transition oriented toward a more environmentally conscious city. A network of organic farmers is growing steadily. Our current tasks are to bridge the gap between local initiatives and municipal officials and to involve citizens in consumer side, introducing the participatory organic farming in the new city park. This reference list shows only a few. Sorry not to be perfect. This is the end of presentation. Thank you for your attention.